North of 10 years after the occasions of the primary film, the film starts with Jake Soyle portraying his humble and quiet life as head of the Omaticaya tribe and raising a family with his significant other Neytiri, which incorporates his children Netayam and Loic and his little girl Tuk, his embraced little girl Kiri, brought into the world from Elegance Augustine's lethargic Navi symbol, and a human kid named Bug, the child of Miles Quaritch, who was brought into the world on Pandora yet couldn't be shipped to Earth in cryostasis as a baby. While Jake can acknowledge Bug as an embraced child, Neytiri is doubtful of him given his human beginnings. Notwithstanding, every one of the kids blend and mingle well with one another, including Insect, whom Kiri is friendly with despite the fact that he is a human. Bug doesn't embrace his human legacy and feels more leaned to Navi culture and customs. They have a typical existence until one day they notice an odd star in the night sky. Sadly, they understand it's a RDA space transport with people getting back to Pandora to colonize it, raising another really working base once more, making critical obliteration Pandora. Among the fresh debuts in the boat is Colonel Quaritch, who has been cloned into a Navi body and with his recollections transferred from before his passing. Thus, Quaritch can't recall his death on account of Jake yet is simply ready to remember the occasions previously and his vindictive mission to kill Jake. To prevent the RDA from exploiting Pandora again, Jake leads a strategic guerrilla operation against the RDA supply lines, weakening them. In one of the operations, Loic, who disobeys Netayam and is eager to prove himself as a Navi warrior, tries to assist Jake in battle but is wounded. Jake rescues and disciplines him to not endanger his own safety by being reckless. That night, while tending to his wounds, Nethri calmly reminds Jake to be not too hard on Loic, to which Jake expresses his concern as a father for the safety of his children. Meanwhile, the retaliatory strike on the RDA supply lines doesn't sit well with Quaritch, who initiates a search mission to kill Jake. During a playful venture, Jake's children along with Spider explore deeper into the rainforest. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his team are in the vicinity exploring the site where Quaritch discovers his human remains. An observant Loic notices their presence and quickly informs Jake. A skirmish ensues and Quaritch's squad captures Jake's children. Jake and Neytiri arrive in time and free most of them, but Spider is taken by Quaritch, who recognizes him as his son. Aboard the ship, the RDA tries to coerce information about Jake from Spider, whom refuses. Changing strategy, Quaritch addresses Spider as his son and also to explain more about the Navi in exchange for his freedom on his side. Although uncooperative and unaware of Quaritch's actual mission, Spider teaches Quaritch about Navi culture. Quaritch is also successfully able to tame an Ikran flying creature as his vehicle. Knowing the danger Spider's knowledge of his whereabouts poses to their safety and also to avoid another catastrophe, Jake convinces a reluctant Nethri and his family to banish themselves from the Omaticaya clan and retreat to the eastern seaboard of Metkaina, a coral reef island whose clan and lifestyle is adapted to Pandora's aquatic habitat. Jake passes on his chief mantle to his successor and leaves together with his family to Metkaina. Once arrived, they are greeted by the clan chief Tonawari and his wife Ronal, who is doubtful of them initially. However, Jake explains their situation and they are agreed to stay and given shelter. Even though some tribesmen deride Jake and his children for their genetic human heritage, the family learns the ways of the reef people, earning the respect of them. Kiri is fascinated with the aquatic life of Metkaina and develops a spiritual bond with the sea and its creatures, while Loic befriends Soraya, the daughter of clan chief Tonawari and his wife Ronal. While adjusting to their new climate, Loic gets into a battle with Soraya's sibling Aoning when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake rebukes his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loic gets back to apologize to Aoning and his companions. Nonetheless, they tempt him to an excursion into the domain of a risky ocean hunter, the Akula, and leave him abandoned. In retribution, the Akula attempts to go after Loic. In any case, Loic is saved by and becomes friends with Payakan, a tulkun, a wise and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Metkaina think about their profound family. Loic can speak with Payakan through marking and eliminates an old spearhead from the monster's right balance. Upon his revisitation of Metkaina, Boss Tonawari, who became mindful of Aonung's deceiving of Loic, requests that the previous apologize to Loic. Notwithstanding, Loic assumes the fault himself, winning Aonung's kinship. He is likewise informed that Payakan is an outsider among his species. In the interim, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, however experiences a vicious seizure. She is recuperated by Ronal. However, when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Korich can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Bug with him, he seized a whaling vessel which is hunting Tulkans to collect their mind catalysts for making hostile to maturing cures. Korich starts to severely scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area. Bombing that, he arranges the whaling team to wantonly kill the Tulkans to draw Jake out. Loic intellectually connects with Payakan and discovers that the Tulkun was projected out on the grounds that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mom. Realizing the peril, Bug's information on his whereabouts postures to their security and furthermore to stay away from another calamity. Jake persuades a hesitant Nethri and his family to oust themselves from the Omaticaya group and retreat toward the eastern seaboard of Metkaina, a coral reef island whose faction and way of life is adjusted to Pandora's oceanic living space. Jake gives his central mantle to his replacement and passes on altogether to Metkaina. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the family boss Tonawari and his significant other Ronal, who is dubious of them at first. Nonetheless, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen scorn Jake and his kids for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals, gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is intrigued with the oceanic existence of Metkaina and fosters a profound bond with the ocean and its animals, while Loic gets to know Soraya, the little girl of tribe boss Tonawari and his significant other Ronal. While adjusting to their new climate, Loic gets into a battle with Soraya's sibling Aoning when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake rebukes his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loic gets back to apologize to Aoning and his companions. Nonetheless, they tempt him to an outing into the region of a hazardous ocean hunter, the Akula, and leave him abandoned in vengeance. The Akula attempts to go after Loic. Notwithstanding, Loic is saved by and gets to know Payakan, a tulkun, a wise and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Metkaina think about their profound family. Loic can speak with Payakan through marking and eliminates an old spearhead from the monster's right blade. Upon his revisitation of Metkaina, Boss Tonawari, who became mindful of Aonung's deceiving of Loic, requests that the previous apologize to Loic. In any case, Loic assumes the fault himself, winning Aonung's fellowship. He is additionally informed that Payakan is an outsider among his species. In the interim, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, yet experiences a vicious seizure. She is mended by Ronal. However, when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Korich can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Bug with him, he lays hold of a whaling vessel which is hunting Tulkans to gather their cerebrum chemicals for making hostile to maturing cures. Korich starts to mercilessly scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area. Bombing that, he arranges the whaling group to wantonly kill the Tulkans to draw Jake out. Loic intellectually interfaces with Payakan and discovers that the Tulkun was projected out in light of the fact that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mom. At the point when the Metkaina learn of the Tulkun butchers, Loic takes off to caution Payakan, trailed by his kin, Soraya and Aoning. They find Payakan being pursued by the whalers, and Loic, Kiri and Tuk are caught by Korich. With their kids at serious risk, Jake, Neytiri and the Metkaina set off on a mission to face the people. Korich powers Jake to give up. However, seeing his spirit sibling risked, Payakan assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills the vast majority of the group and basically harms the vessel, making it sink. Netayam salvages Loic and Insect, however is lethally shot. Jake faces Korich, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Bug, Courage at first denies his child, yet ceases when Neytiri cuts Insect on the chest. Jake, Courage, Neytiri and Tuck end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Courage into obviousness and is protected by Loic and Pyakon, and Kiri calls ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Tuck. Insect finds and safeguards Courage, however passes on him because of his mercilessness towards the Na'vi and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Netayam's memorial service, Jake and his family choose to forever remain with the Metkayina.